All right, folks, another review for you. 2015 Toyota Yaris. Now, the Yaris is a world car. This car is actually built over in France. It's got more of a European look to it. It's all new for 2015 here in the United States. I don't know about the rest of the world. I didn't look. They've redone the look of it. It's got more of a horizontal looking, front grille assembly to it, chrome, projector beam lights, which actually they work very well. They've actually lengthened this car a couple of inches, pushed the wheels out wider to make it a little more stable. They've redone the suspension to where it's a little bit, stiffer, sportier, I guess you could call it. This car comes in a 3-door or a 5-door model. This, of course, is the five-door model. This car is right around $18,000 as tested. Sporty looking little car. Again, not a lot to talk about here. I'll get in the back seat when we do the interior review here in just a minute, or the interior portion in a minute. But it is what it is. It's a very economical car. It's designed for somebody looking to do some daily commuting that doesn't need a ton of room inside. Higher fuel economy. I averaged, but Richard's behind the camera, we averaged around 33, 34 miles to the gallon in the car. It's got a peppy little 1.5 liter engine. It actually, the car actually works well, performs well. There's just not a lot of room in this car. We'll go through the driving portion in a moment. We'll come back and we'll do the interior. But again, this is the all-new 2015 Yaris, and we're actually driving the SE model, and it's around the $18,000 price tag. All right, folks, we're in the driving portion now of the 2015 Yaris, and as I spoke in the opening, all new. We'll go through the interior in just a moment, but all new. You can kind of see from inside here. If you've ever been in a Yaris before, you'll notice that everything looks totally different on the inside. One of the things they've also done, and I didn't show this on the outside, mainly because it's so cold today, we wanted to just get inside as quickly as we could. They've sloped the windshield back more, done more acoustics with the glass, more interior deadening, or sound deadening to make the interior quieter. And I will say that this Yaris is the quietest Yaris I've driven yet. It was surprisingly different. And in the past, Yaris has not been, in my book anyways, one of the premium, quiet cars you would actually go out and drive. Is this a car today that I feel really competes well in its market? Yeah, it does. It's Toyota quality. It works extremely well. You just need to get out and drive the vehicle yourself. One thing you notice on this car is I put it in reverse. Nothing changes here. That'll change next year in 2016 as it's mandated here in the US that everything has a backup camera built in. This car does not have that, as you can see. So we're going to head out. I'll put it in drive. We'll head down the road, and I hope you can kind of even tell what the interior noise is like once we get driving here just a little bit, where you can kind of see how things are. But as I said earlier, this car's got great power. We average 35 miles to the gallon. Is it the smoothest car you're going to drive? No, it's short. It's a little wider, which they did help the suspension out. And I will say it does feel different than driving the previous generation Yaris, which, I wasn't a huge fan of the previous generation. I'll just tell you that right now. That car was noisy, rode really rough. I just was not a huge fan. This car I drove for, believe it or not, I drove this car for most of the week, and Richard didn't get to drive it as much as I did because actually I commute more than he does, and I actually enjoyed driving it. It actually works extremely well. The fuel economy is fantastic, and is this a car I would buy and own, especially if I'm doing commuting? I'm looking for high mileage at a very reasonable price. Yes, the Toyota Yaris fits that bill very well. The lack of nav and some of those things, those will have to be things you to determine. And it's not a lack of nav. Let me make sure I explain that. It's a lack of nav factory installed. You can still get nav, but it's not going to come from the factory. It's a dealer installed option. Again, that's something you'll have to determine on your own. But again, great car, 2015 Yaris. We'll come back and do the interior. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed the drive. And again, like Richard always says, get out, drive these cars for yourself, compare them. You need to get behind the wheel yourself. But here's the back. Again, push the button, opens up, nothing automatic. Again, this car's not a high-end Lexus. It is what it is. It's a Yaris, $18,000. You do have a privacy screen here in the back. There is some storage. Now, I will say this, and not to knock Yaris, because each car is unique to itself. But we reviewed the Nissan Versa Note not that long ago. More room back here on the Note. Not that difference in price, but did have a little more behind these seats room in it. Not a ton. Again, you need to get out, drive the cars, look at them yourself. Both of these seats in the back do fold down. There's a little button over here you pull up, and the seats will actually fold down. But again, slide the hatch back down, shut it, off you go. All right, I'll climb into the back seat. Again, we leave the front seats back on purpose so you can get an idea of how much room is actually back here. I'm 5'10", As you can see, I've still got plenty of room, plenty of leg room here. You could put 3 people in the back seat, although 3 full-size adults are probably going to get a little tight. Now, if you're a young family, you want to put a couple of car seats back here. As you can see, again, this seat's back all the way. There would be enough room for some car seats and other things that you could do. You could still have room to put your, I don't know, your stroller or whatever else you want to put in the very back. And again, Toyota, this is a very safe car. It's got all the airbags, all the amenities you would need as far as that goes. I'm going to climb into the front seat in a minute. But again, not a lot of high-end things. I mean, it's very plasticky. It's just the way that the car is built. That's the price tag this car is in. And again, as I said in the opening, this is a European car. And again, as I get out, one thing that is nice for you ladies, it does have a nice slope here. You're not having to, pry yourself out of the car, if you would. You can just, step out of the car and off you go. So that part of it, they've done a really good job on. I'll open the door, put Richard in the front seat. I'll hop around to the driver's seat. All right, so now we're in the front seat. Jump from the passenger seat in the rear to the front seat. And one thing I will note, that one of the things they've done this year, this is an all new interior. I should have said that when I was in the back seat, but all new car, all new interior. They've made it more spacious inside, and it does feel much bigger on the inside. One thing that I do not like about these littler cars, I had the same problem with the Note. There's nothing in the middle fold down to put your arm on. So when you're used to that in some of the other cars like we are, you tend to be driving and you're always kind of leaning over and there's nothing there to lean on. And the reality is that, it is tighter in here. So if you've got, like in my case, I had my wife next to us, sometimes we were bumping elbows in here just because of how tight things are. But, that's okay. One thing they've done that's nice, it is a nice, which even on some of their higher end vehicles, they don't do this. They've done a nice, simulated leather look. It is plastic, but it looks like leather, so it's got a good look and feel to it. Storage areas where you can set some things here. There's a storage pocket up here, which is kind of a cool place where you can actually slip your cell phone in way up here if you want to. This is Bluetooth connected. Only thing on the steering wheel, nothing fancy here. You've got volume and controls for the radio. Other than that, that's it. Again, very basic car. One knock interior wise that I wish they would do a little differently is we think they're using a system here from Scion. I'm guessing because that's what this system looks like as far as the infotainment and that goes. We showed you a little bit of that in the driving portion. No nav unless you get it dealer installed. You can't order this car from the factory with nav installed. Now to some of you, probably not a big deal. Most of you guys with smartphones and the generation buying this, smartphones and so on, are going to have that, so it's probably not a huge issue. Just something that we wanted to point out. But guys, we hope you enjoyed the review today. Again, go out, drive the 2015 Toyota Yaris at your local Toyota dealer. See how you like it. See how it compares to other vehicles in your market. All right, folks, hope you enjoyed this review today that we've done for you. And as my son always says, check out all the rest of the reviews that we have. Please make sure you go out and drive whatever car it is you're looking at yourself. Don't go off of any review that you watch, either ours or somebody else's or what you read. You need to go out and experience the car for yourself. But remember, we're on air, Drive Radio, every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's here in the Denver, Colorado market. You can catch us on the TuneIn app at 560thesource.com. Just look for 560 here in the Denver market. You can also watch us live on YouTube. We stream our broadcasts every Saturday on our YouTube channel, Drive Radio, all one word. You can also find us on our website at drive-radio.com, and you can listen to us live right on our radio station's website, which is 560thesource.com. With that, we're out of here. Hope you have a great time, and thanks again for watching.